Welcome in studio. And hi, Nikki from Academy Swim. How you doing? What's going on?
I'm doing great, Tori. How are you?
I'm doing just fine. Look at the big smile. I know you can't see it, but I can see it. And it's a nice, big, gigantic smile. We're ready to get going. Let's talk about, I know it's back to school, back to school week, but that doesn't really mean anything in Southern California.
It doesn't.
It's not like we stop all the, I mean, I'm from Jersey. And when Labor Day was here, everything stopped. All the summer activities stopped and we went on.
Because you have 4 seasons. We just have one here, really.
One big
or
fat
2,
season.
indoor and outdoor.
Exactly. So it doesn't really stop.
Yeah.
Especially this week, we're having triple digits. And I know for one, I'm going to be in my pool.
Yes.
For sure.
So,
okay?
so are all the kids. Whether you give them permission or not, they're going to find water.
Exactly. And that's what we need to talk about. Academy Swim has been so instrumental in helping children know what to do if they accidentally fall in a pool or they think they can swim and they know exactly what they need to do. And the facts are so, some of these numbers that we talk about are so scary. Over 8,000 non-fatal drownings?
Yeah, there's a lot of fatal drownings, but we don't really talk about the non-fatal drownings, which very often end in caregiver for life situations with some brain damage or body damage that does not get better due to physical therapy or anything else. So there's 22 every day non-fatal drowning accidents.
But if you stop to think about that number, that's a frightening number. That's a frightening number. I know it doesn't set like 22, whatever, but think about...
That's 22 a day, but we're only tracking the ones that get a 911 call. We're not, nobody can track all the accidents that happen in a home pool where there is no residual effects.
There's always more.
There's always more.
Exactly. When you talk about a non-fatal drowning, so is it a person who's been underwater for a certain amount of time
who needs to be resuscitated?
Needs to be resuscitated,
yes.
And they're successful in getting that. But damage has been done. So what do we do? What do we do?
So you call 911. Even if you end up reviving that child or that person, call 911 because there could be water in the lungs, which could lead to a fatality hours later. So if there is ever an incident where you have to pull someone out of the pool and they're non-responsive to begin with, even if, 10 seconds later they become responsive, call 911.
Because there can be something on the way to the facility that those paramedics can do to help.
Yes.
They need to take care. And it does seem, I think we go into panic mode, especially if it's a small child. We just scoop them up and throw them in the car. But that might be not the best thing we can do.
Well, it depends on where you live. So, yes, that could be the best thing. But if you are in a city like most of us here in Santa Clarita, the best thing is to call 911 and start CPR. And that's one of the layers of protection. Swimming lessons isn't the only layer. I mean, we teach all of our kids how to float on their back with their clothes on, just in case of emergencies like this. But there's other layers of protections that you must have for these trials. And one of them is learn CPR right away. And you don't have to get certified and do the whole darn course to know how to help your child. Just chest compressions without breathing, without the breaths, is still going to help because the chest compressions themselves get oxygen to the brain. And the longer that brain doesn't have oxygen, the more likely they're going to have permanent brain damage. So if you have to wait 3 to 4 minutes for an ambulance, or even if you throw your kid in the car and it takes you 3 to 4 minutes or longer to get to the hospital.
Way too long.
That's
way too long.
You just killed your child, essentially. So
way too long.
Learn CPR. That's critical and essential. Put a fence around your pool. Put put like motion detector alarms on the pool surface, and they may
Wait a minute.
annoy
Wait,
you.
wait a minute. What's this?
It's
do I
something
even know?
you can put floating in the pool because
Okay.
kids will get through gates. They'll get over gates. They find ways, trust me. I have heard it all. But you put something floating on the pool
Okay.
and it detects motion. You can set it to so that a lizard jumping in your pool or falling in your pool isn't going to wake you up in the middle of the night. And occasionally there is going to be a squirrel or something that does wake you up, and it's worth the safety precaution, seriously, because then if your child ever does get into the pool, you will hear it and respond to it much more quickly.
So these are motion alarms, and you can get them for the water, the
Mm-hmm.
actual water. So if a child would fall or even get in, you would know about it.
And your local pool store can get those, or you can find them online. But support your local business. Go to your local pool stores first.
I honestly have never even heard of that. That
Oh
is
my
that is
gosh.
brand new information
They're great.
for me. So you have to have a fence around the pool. Now, some of these things do get when you put in a pool, because when we put in
yeah.
a pool, there are inspections.
Yeah.
You can't just willy-nilly put in a pool.
Right.
You have to have on the slider, you have to have a special lock or or alarm on the gate. The gate that leads back into the backyard, you have to have a lock or a special something on that as well. What else can we do? So we have
Well, there's also, some pools are impossible to fence because there's multi-layers and there's other things going on in the backyard. And you can put alarms on your doors that lead to outside, do this, the whole alarm thing if a door is opened. So that will help alert you to, did a child get out? And really be cautious of doggy doors. There's so many kids that crawl out through doggy doors. So, button those up or get a fence around the pool.
I'm not really fond of the doggy door. I have to tell you, Nikki, short story. When I heard a news story, not that
Burglar.
Not only the burglar, well, we saw that in Home Alone. That can happen in Home Alone. We all saw Home Alone. But no, coyote.
Oh, seriously? In the
Coyote
house?
went right through the doggy door. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not.
Oh my gosh.
We're not doing that. We're not doing that. So I'm not a big believer in doggy doors anyway, because nope, not going to do that. Yeah, baby coyote can,
Yeah.
right?
And if a baby comes in, the mom's coming in after.
Exactly. As she laughs hysterically. Yeah. Okay, Nikki. So we have, let's break it down. We have the fence. We have the CPR. We've got the new motion sensor for the water that I never heard of. Obviously,
The alarms on the doors to go out.
the alarms on the doors. Obviously, supervision is the number one.
It is.
It's the number one.
It is, but it's
thing.
also impossible. There is no one parent that can supervise their child 24/7. Our kids get up in the middle of the night. You have to take a shower. I remember
Yeah.
putting my child in a car seat in the bathroom when I took a
Totally
shower.
did it. Totally did it. Totally did it. I put her right next to the shower in the car seat.
yeah.
Totally did it. Yes.
But sometimes our kids surprise us, and I know of a tragic story with a family who had a barbecue with family that came over. The mom was inside preparing food, the dad was outside barbecuing, and they would tag team each other. He's outside now, he's inside now, he's outside. You got him, right? And tragically, this child snuck outside. The mom thought he was inside. All of a sudden, everyone said, "Where is he?" Every family member looked around. One uncle stood up and looked in the pool and didn't see anything, and he said, "All clear." And everybody went looking around inside. Then they went out the front door, went out scouring the neighborhood, and then tragically a hat came floating up to the surface of the pool, and that's how they found out. And they had a gate around the pool. It was a shorter gate for their dogs, but the child climbed up the waterfall feature and went down and slipped into the pool. It's so silent, and people think you're going to hear this big splash and then you're going to hear screaming and crying. It's so silent. He slipped into the pool with a little blurp, and nobody heard it.
And nobody heard it. So these things happen. These things
They
happen.
do.
They can be accidents for
And
sure.
if you're missing a child, check the pool first.
Check,
run,
like, really
run, go up to the pool's edge and check, scan the pool first.
Scan the pool. Before we leave, we have to talk about the last thing, and that is learning to swim, learning to float with your clothes on. Very important thing. We've always talked about that because it changes everything.
Well, people think, people think they're old school, or they come from the East Coast and, the kids are back in school, so we're going to stop swimming lessons. And we don't do that with anything else. Have you ever heard of taking piano lessons just in the winter for 3 months,
Exactly.
And
right?
then we'll be back
Exactly.
next winter. It's crazy. Just put your kids in swimming lessons until they're comfortable and they can swim across the pool with their clothes on, and then you can feel an element of safety. It doesn't mean they're going to have good judgment and use it when they're in the water, and it doesn't mean that they're going to fall in the pool in the winter when it's 60 degrees in the water and they're going to not be able to breathe. So there's other conditions.
It's called, when we get into a car, we put the seatbelt on.
Exactly.
We also have the airbag.
Exactly.
We've got the rear view mirrors.
Yep.
You use all of the tools.
Yep.
All of the tools. So we
Yep.
use the fencing. We know how to do CPR. We have the supervision. We have the monitors. And we have taught our kids to swim, or in this case, you and your people teach the child to swim and to also, to swim and to float and with the clothes on. All of that together will have, will bring a nice, safe summer. And for here, we have a safe summer 365 days a year.
Yeah.
So let's... Nikki,
and drowning happens year-round, and it's our job to help our children survive to their 21st birthday. It's our job.
Exactly.
And drowning is the leading cause of accidental death, 14 times more likely than a car accident. And yet everyone buys a car seat because it's mandated by law.
We can do this.
We can.
Don't give up on us, Nikki.
We can.
Don't give up on us. We can do this. 661-702-8585. Is that the number?
Yes, or online.
Or online. And I have to say, your website is so beautifully done. It is very user friendly. You can chat to somebody, you can register, you can enroll, you can, everything is right here, and it's very easy to figure out. And what is the thing? It's swimforlife.com. Swim, the number 4, life, life.com. Swimforlife.com. You can find out anything you need to find out online, or you can call 702-8585. Nikki, it's always a pleasure. Don't give up. We're doing it.
Thank you, Tori. Thank you for helping spread the word.
Okay. We will, I promise.